Hi Abhinav, how are you?
Hey Vashi, I'm doing good. How about you?
All well, and thank you for joining us today for this quick testimonial call. So, to begin with, I would want you to give a quick introduction about yourself, your profile, academics, all those things, if you could share with us.
Sure. So myself, Abhinav, I am from Haryana, and professional wise, I am a senior software engineer at Oracle, and it's close to 4 years. I'm working as a full-time employee. After I graduated from NIT Warangal, so I did my BTech in computer science from NIT Warangal in 2022, and since then I got my internship as well at Oracle, which I converted to PPO, and yeah, that's a brief about myself.
Perfect. So, Abhinav, you reached out to us at LilacBuds. How was that? Why did you reach out to us? What were you looking for? If you could share that with us.
Sure. So last year I gave my GMAT, and when I was in my GMAT process, I did not have any single idea about the rest of the application, like essays, resume, all these things. I had no clue, and I was just focused towards GMAT. On 22nd of September, I gave my test and got my score. And then I started reaching out to consultants because I just missed my round one deadlines for various schools. And I wanted to be fully 100% sure for my round two. And I wanted a consultant or a mentor basically to guide me and to give personalized advices all the times, all across the process. Because as I said, that I did not have much of the idea of the process to start off. So I reached out to some consultants, but what I found was they were not very keen on giving personalized time. It felt like very business and very transactional to me. One differentiator with LilacBuds was it was really pleasing and really warm. Like from what I can recall, like you had really good amount of interest in knowing my profile and then weaving a narrative out of it. So I felt like I will get a good amount of value addition from working with LilacBuds. So that's why I went ahead with LilacBuds and Karan Sharma as my mentor specifically.
Perfect. That was great. So you mentioned your GMAT, which was, right once round one deadlines were getting over or majority of schools were done. So what was your GMAT score? If you could share that with us.
Yeah, so I gave the GMAT Focus and my score was 725, which is like 99.4 percentile.
That was like an excellent percentile. So, everything opened up in respect of applications. So you wanted us, we started working on your MBA applications. That was your primary reason for reaching out to us. So if you could share with your viewers the schools you applied to, what were your results, scholarships which you got, because there was certainly quite a few. And now
Yeah.
finally, which school you are going ahead with. So that would be amazing to share.
Yeah, so that's a funny story. Basically, I wanted to just apply to US schools, but on the day I gave my GMAT, a proclamation came from US that there is a 100K fee. So at that time, it was very uncertain and very ambiguous. So I tried diversifying my option. I think I diversified it too much. So I applied in six different countries and in total 12 or 13 schools. Out of five, I did with LilacBuds and rest of the application I did with myself. So these schools included in US, it was Michigan Ross, UW Foster, Georgia Tech Scheller, USC Marshall, Cornell, UCLA Anderson, and I applied to LBS as well, ESADE, Melbourne Business School, and Imperial College London as well. So out of all these 12, 13 schools, I got admit from eight of them, four in US, which was Ross, Scheller, Marshall, Foster, and then fifth one was Imperial, sixth one was Rotman, seventh one was ESADE, and eighth one was Melbourne Business School. So that's a pretty long list to remember.
True.
And fortunately, I got scholarships in literally all of them. So ranging from 25% to even full rights in some of these schools. And I chose to pick Michigan Ross for my upcoming MBA because I got decent amount of scholarship. I got 100K, which is like 60% of the fees. And based on the
True.
reputation and ROI and all these things combined, Ross seemed a perfect fit for me and my future goals.
True. Great. Congrats on all the admits. It's actually a huge list. Doing everything in round two, I know it's a big feat. 12 schools, deadlines very close by. So it would have been like, obviously very, very hectic. So how did you come across Lilac Buds? Your, specific, you did mention the personalized process. So I remember your first conversation was with me. Then you did speak to Karan as well. You mentioned he was
Yeah.
working as your mentor. So how did that all come about? What apprehensions you had about getting into this journey? How Karan allayed those fears? If you could share on that.
So some of the fears were like in those 3 months, how many school I can actually apply, and not just for the sake of it, like it should be a quality application. So I was just really worried about, because I just missed R1, which is the main point for most of the applicants. So I wanted that surety to be given at the start. And from what I can recall, like Karan laid a nice blueprint of what's going to happen week by week for these 3 months. So first 2 weeks were really crucial, in which I did a deep introspection of my profile, like starting from my 10th class to currently, whatever I have done, whether it is professional, whether it is academic, extracurricular, anything, I just laid out, and there was a template called LTIM. So that was the main document for me for the entire process. And I just dumped everything into that, and then basically picked and plugged whatever narrative and whatever points I wanted to use in the future applications, depending on the school, depending on the essay, depending on the whatever questions has been asked. So that LTIM and those 2 weeks, those 2 to 3 weeks of self-research and what I want to do really, not just for the sake of telling anyone that I want to do MBA for any XYZ reason, but I really want to do, and from which decisions I have come across my life to at current point, and what do I want in future. So all those chronological narrative was the most important factor for me. And Karan was really helpful, and he was also like always available, whether it was meetings or it was calls. So I felt like I don't have a consultant who is managing like hundreds of students. Even it was the case, I didn't feel it per se, and it felt like he's just one-on-one managing me all the time. So that was really cool, and that was really awesome to know.
Perfect. Abhinav, okay, you have a lot of admits, but when the first one comes, that's always a special thing to hold because okay, I have something in my kitty, it's secure, my application cycle is a success. So how was that experience of getting your first admit, that moment, if you could share with our viewers?
Yeah, so basically the first school I applied was Rotman Toronto, and with Karan as well. So I got that admit on around Christmas, and basically before that I was really skeptical of myself and a bit underconfident as well, because I did not have any admits, so I did not know how the adcoms will review my profile. And coming from software engineering background, which is a overrepresentative majority, like there are tons of software engineers who are applying to MBA applications. I was in doubts whether I can secure some good spot in those B schools. So when that first admit rolled out, then it gave me a sense of security that at least right now I can focus on good quality schools, good reputation schools, and not just safety schools or tier 3 schools. Like that really gave me confidence as well. And also I remember I got 40K scholarship from Rotman. So that became a baseline for me. In the in the next schools, I would ideally want higher
Hi.
scholarships than
True.
them. Yeah.
Definitely too. Amazing. Any special moment through your complete application process with Karan, which you would like to highlight, something which was okay, this was, a very different thing which you experienced, or that was something which you would like to share?
I can recall two moments. Firstly, like out of all these schools, I got interview invites from 9 different schools. And so to prepare for that, he gave me a blueprint document of some set of questions and how to approach these interviews. And I created some stories in my mind as well for behaviorals, for TMATs, for different whys, why MBA, why now, why XYZ school. But I wanted to make sure that it landed in a right way, it landed in a perfect way in which I am assuming. So he conducted some mock interviews with himself, and the feedback I got from those mock interviews was really crucial because the content I was delivering was perfect. But there were other facets of my interview, like body language, like how I smile, like how I use my hands. Those were not coming off very nicely, and I could not have predicted those while just preparing on like Google Doc or anything. So though that really helped me a lot, and maybe that was the reason I converted 8 out of 9 interview invites into admit. So that was really fruitful. And another thing was I did not have any experience of writing any essays. Like I did not even write 100 words before starting this application at once. So I still remember my first essay. I just wrote anything. Like it was so gibberish. I can't even read it right now. But he organized it very well, and I got a sense of how to write essays in those 2 months process. Like if
True.
I read my first essay from first school to the last essay to last school, it is like you can't even say that it is written by a single person, same person.
Correct.
So that transformation was really awesome, and his guidance and his points, which he mentioned during those meetings, during those review calls for those essays, it was really good and transformational for me.
Perfect. So, Abhinav, now, every applicant who goes through this, has that doubt, round one versus round two. Did you feel seeing at your admits that, was it a wise decision to go with round two, or you should have waited a year? Obviously, you have excellent scholarships, like you mentioned. 8 schools, almost every school has given you a scholarship, full ride to 100K. So, obviously, this is a fear which a lot of applicants have. Is that something you would say is true, or it's just a myth? How do you perceive that?
It's true and false both. So if you are ready with your application, firstly, you should not apply with half-baked applications at all, because that will just you won't convert that into admit, and that will get listed in their application systems that this is a half-baked profile. So whenever you reapply, that will be a point of consideration. That can be a point of consideration because we don't know how adcoms work. That's a black box for me. So if it is possible to submit your quality applications in round one, I would definitely agree to that. Definitely recommend. But in my case or in any other case, if you are not able to complete your applications by R1, you are still okay. Round two also accepts a lot of incoming candidates. I think there is a good 40% of the students of the class coming from round two. So round two is still not late. Don't think that everything is over. Like you can take my example as well. Like I got into so many admits. So till round two, everything is sorted for international students. But yeah, if it is possible, do prefer R1.
Perfect. Thank you so much for this, Abhinav. Just one last question. If you would have any advice for any future applicants who want to look at this MBA journey about looking at schools abroad, what kind of a game plan should they tackle? Anything they should remember based on your experience, which you feel, oh yeah, this was right, this was wrong, I could have done better. Anything you would suggest for them?
So I would say uh, picking some two, three USPs or X factors in your profile is a must, which will differentiate from the rest of the applicants in your domain. So that identification and that introspection was really important. And around that, you will build a story which you will tell to adcoms in interviews or essays. And that will be your true showcase value for your application. So that's definitely important. And other thing is time management and prioritization of different tasks, because there are a lot of competing deadlines, and you have to write a lot of essays, and these essays have to be different from each of the schools because every school has different values, different principles and mission statements. So prioritization is really important, and that's where I felt the need of consultant a lot, because I myself could not have done all these 12, 13 applications for sure. I just needed another head, another brain working with me to just guide me, just focus, just put me my mind into focus of what to do and what not to do in the coming week or the coming 3, 4 days. So that blueprint was really needed by for me, and I would suggest the same, like time management and prioritization of tasks. That's the main deal breaker for you getting into the school, or you not getting into the school.
Perfect. I think this words of wisdom would help really, many candidates in the future. Thank you so much, Abhinav. It was a pleasure interacting with you, being a part of your journey in any small way possible. Happy to see you going to one of your top choice schools, Ross, with a scholarship. All the best, and thanks for taking out the time.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Yeah.
Bye.
Cool. Bye.